Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We're back with your favorite podcast, Luca's Tigers and Bronze, oh my.
Luca Nation. We want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Luca's Tigers and Bronze, oh my. Guys, we know there's two NFL football games going on tonight, so we'll keep today's episode short to the point. But first, we want to welcome a new audience. 1:37 p.m., they put together an article of top podcasts in the industry. So if you're a new listener and you're joining us here from that audience, thank you. First, thank you from the bottom of my heart for that attention. Cage and I started this podcast 4 months ago. We had a passion for talking sports cards, investing, how to make money in this hobby, and we had no idea it would be one of the fastest growing podcasts out there. And it's truthfully a testament to our community. We call them Luca Nation, and they help us so much. They give us feedback, they repost, they share our content. So if you're one of the new listeners from the 1:37 p.m. article, we welcome you. It's great to have you. Thank you so much. And last thing, because I know Cage is chomping at the bit to get a few words in here.
Well, I want to thank them for sticking around long enough to listen to your baloney here, because now they're new. They never heard us before. They don't know that you're the kumbaya, incense lighting guy here. Now they come over, let me check out these guys, and they got to listen to the first couple minutes of you waxing philosophical. I guess they better get used to it.
Well, that's not the only thing. So I'm kumbaya, but I also am a big history buff. And today's a huge, huge day in history. Today's Pearl Harbor Day. So I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank our armed forces. And if you guys are out there, take a few minutes, read about the significance of Pearl Harbor. It's a huge, huge day in American history and truthfully in world history. So I wanted to take
let's
minute for that.
Let's take a minute and acknowledge the Ewok crew. Yeah, pronounced just like Star Wars. A joint service shop with the Air Force, Navy, and Army members, primarily Air Force members out of the 32nd Intelligence Squadron at Fort Meade, Maryland. December 6th, right? I mean, so, this is, December 7th, right? So, I mean, here you are. It is, Pearl Harbor. Might as well acknowledge. And this is a crew of guys who listen to us out of the, I think they're stationed in Maryland. A lot of them live in Virginia. We just want to thank you. They reached out to us, tell us they listen every day, and it feels like a good day to acknowledge them. And guys, Nate,
100%.
Nate, who I speak with from that crew, I just got back from the post office, sent a little package, some fun stuff out to you guys, some cards, a little thank you note, a little thank you for your service. So expect that at some point later this week.
Let me ask you, who's the most impressive quarterback in the NFL this year?
Gardner Minshew grows the most impressive mustache. Baker Mayfield grows the least impressive mustache, but he's the most impressive sashayer down the field.
Dude, I don't know if anyone else is out there, but I can't stop cracking up when I watch Baker Mayfield sprint down the sidelines trying to fake throw blocks for his wide receivers. It's comical. I don't know why I think it's so funny. I don't think it really is that funny because he's being a good teammate, but I think it's hilarious.
So it changes week to week. The two most steady guys have been Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. And I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers only because he's kind of doing it under the radar. Everybody is all over Mahomes. And Rodgers' numbers are almost as good.
If you were starting a franchise, you had Andy Reid, Bill Belichick as your coach, would you consider taking Deshaun over Patrick Mahomes as your franchise quarterback?
Maybe. Most likely no. Mahomes does with the legs and the arms. Watson, I think, is a little more with the legs than the arm, although he's a talented quarterback. I just think that while they're both very, very good, upper echelon quarterbacks now, I think when Watson slows down a little bit and can't rely on his legs as much as he does now, the gap between the two is going to widen.
I love it. So if you guys don't know, and you're new listeners, Cage and I do kind of a little bit of a recap of the current events in the sports world, whether it's basketball, football, wrestling, Pokemon, whatever's going on in the culture zeitgeist. And then we each bring you a play a day. So my play today, and it piggybacks on what you just said, the fact that you even had to consider for a split second, Watson's pretty damn good. He's pretty damn good.
Yep.
Today my play is more of a strategy and to look out for this, because I think Watson's peak is 2-3 years away, unfortunately. Given having to play for Bill O'Brien, trading away his best wide receiver, then his other best wide receiver, Will Fuller, going down with steroids for 6 games. The guy's just been dealt adversity after adversity after adversity. And in my opinion, he's the most impressive player this season because of the fact of how much he does with so little. The fact that he was able to keep that Texans team in the game and possibly win that game with 1 minute left against a really good defense with just about no weapons on offense. I would really be monitoring the Deshaun Watson market right now, because it's really his cards are a fraction of the price of his talent.
10% of Mahomes too, right?
10%. But you can't watch Watson and be like, this guy's not unbelievable. He's just been dealt a bad hand. He had the worst GM coaching, I think, in history. I want to see him and Anthony Lynn have a conversation that should be recorded. And that actually, if you guys are listening, we'd love to have you on Luca Nation to hash it out.
Yeah, sure. Come on,
Bill O'Brien, Anthony Lynn. I just think he's been dealt a bad hand, and I think his Prism cards, his Prism base, or I guess it's the Prism PSA 10, is just significantly underpriced. But here's the thing: I don't think it's worth rushing into now. I think you're going to be able to get that card for 20-25% pay cut in the offseason anyway. And I think going into next season, if he just gets 1 or 2 weapons and I clean up that offense and defense just a little bit, that's a playoff team, and he's an exciting player. Imagine him in the playoffs. Man, that card is 2-3x if he gets into the playoffs. And I think in 2 to 3 years, you'll see his peak. And I'd start monitoring that market right now.
I like it. I was actually looking, somebody listed a couple of them last night in one of the groups that I'm in. And I'm not I'm not the Mahomes fan that a lot of people are. And I look at them similar, and I know what Mahomes 2017 Prism Silver base, whatever it is, because they're all the same, goes for. And when I saw somebody list the Deshaun Watson, I'm like, all right, let me look what the price is. I expected it to be half, 30% of what Mahomes is, and it was literally a fraction, like 10% of what Mahomes sells for. And he's clearly more than 10% of the player.
We talk recency bias a lot on this. And you might think, well, Mahomes doesn't have any recency bias. Well, actually, if you look at the career of Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning, you could see if you stretch this time frame, Watson Mahomes could have a very similar rivalry. Sure, Mahomes jumps out to 2 Super Bowls, but these guys might be in the league for 15, 20 years. Who's to say Deshaun's not leading the league in yards and touchdowns next year? So I think if you just take a look at that Tom Brady versus Manning kind of rivalry throughout the years, I see something similar building up in Mahomes versus Deshaun. I just think Deshaun's been, and I love how I say his name. I don't know if that's the right way to say it.
Deshaun Watson.
I like the way I say it. Sorry.
Deshaun.
But Deshaun.
I like it.
Because it's from when Deshaun Jackson played for the Eagles. I still have that memory when he had the punt return versus the Giants to win the game.
Yeah. Not the one where he held the ball out and got tackled at the 1 yard line before he crossed the end zone and fumbled it. Not that one. It's not that memory.
I'm an optimist.
All right.
And shout out Jalen Hurts. Thank God we finally put you into play. That was calamity. Carson Wentz is the first quarterback to take 3 sacks every single game for eternity.
You think Hurts will be all right or what?
Hurts is going to be good, man. He can actually throw the ball and knows how to play football.
He's got a great NFL name for a quarterback that gets injured.
Instead of questioning my plays, I feel like you're a little bit unprepared for today's episode. You've been running around.
No way, man. I got a great play. I want to know who's Philadelphia. Who's the Eagles' third quarter? Who's their third quarterback? Because it's like a limerick, right? It's like Carson Wentz somewhere else and Jalen got Hurts. So who are we putting in to save the day? Nicky Foles?
Nicky Foles third wheel for the stool.
All right, well, tripod Nicky Foles. No, I actually have a play, and it's funny because it's similar to your Deshaun Watson play. It's a completely different sport, but it's a guy who was talked about in those young stud players, but then kind of fell off a little bit, right? And I may have even given this play once in our 150 something episodes, but it's a completely different thing now. So everyone's buying basketball now. Everybody's watching football now, and nobody is really buying baseball yet. And I'm starting to buy baseball. And I mentioned to you last week that I was purchasing Ronald Acuna update PSA 10s for 125. It's probably not because I mentioned it, but you know, those things have started to go back up a little bit. I can't really find too many of them more at the price that I was in. But I'm looking at a young guy who was talked about in the same breath as Acuna was, talked about in the same breath as Soto, um, uh, talked about in the same breath as Tatis, maybe even. And he's young, and he's got a whole bunch of offense around him, and he is only 23 years old. I think he'll be 24 when the
Is it
season
Jason
starts.
Dominguez with 2 S's?
It is not, but I like that kid too. But no, this is a guy who's already done it. So it's a guy who had put together a season where he has already played. He's already got a 6.4 career WAR. He already played a season a full season where he had 38 home runs. 38 home runs. All right, and he's 23 right now. 38 home runs, over 150 hits, 90 RBIs. Batting average near 280.
Cage is building the suspense up.
Right? Was actually 17th in the American League MVP race that year, 2019. But boy, did he fall off last year. Boy, did he fall.
Talk about participation trophies.
And I want to, well, listen, just to get a vote is pretty good, right? Especially when it's basically your rookie season. And he was third in the rookie of the year. And he's been an all-star 2 years. But during the COVID season here, which I'm going to call it in 2020, this guy did not play well. He had some nagging injuries. His batting average was terrible. He started to pick it up towards the end. His power numbers fell off tremendously. And he went through some real cold spells. But when you're a Yankee, the lineup is going to pick you up. And when you're a Yankee who's currently only making $600,000 a year and you're under team control, you're not going anywhere, and you're going to have LeMahieu and Stanton and Judge and all these other guys driving runs in around you, Gleyber Torres' cards are entirely too cheap. And I'm not saying that he has to go out there and hit 38 home runs again, which he's already done. But if the kid comes out in his age 24 season coming up and goes out and does what he did the year prior, his 2018 update card, his 2018 PSA 10 update card, which was $100 and change, 100 and change for this card, right, is now available, selling this week at $53. So the card is US 200, 2018 Topps Update. Gleyber Torres is the one where he's wearing his pinstripe jersey. He's just swung the ball. I don't know if it's a pop-up or a home run, but he's kind of looking out towards right field. The ball's in the air. You got the pinstripe one. You got the batting in gray. Sometimes the label says they're both the same exact card. It's US 200. He's wearing a pinstripe jersey. The PSA flips have two different labels on them. It's a little weird, but they're selling all week this week on eBay, $53, $54. You might find somebody who has a lot of them who wants to give up on them and move his money into the next big thing. Maybe you get this card for under $50. Do I think that he's going to have a season like Tatis will have this year, or Soto has this year, or Acuna has this year? No. Do I think he's going to be that far behind? No. So you can't buy Tatis and Soto and Acuna for $50, but you can buy him for $50. I expect those guys' cards to go to 200. I expect Tatis's card to go back to 200. It was 3. I expect Soto's cards to go back near to 2 and change, which it's closing in now anyway. Same thing with Acuna. 125, 130 for that card, 135. I think it's over 200. This guy's card goes to $75, and you made 50% on your investment.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a good play. You just
it's kind of a good play.
You just need them to. Well, it's also the least investment, right? You could buy 3 of these for the price of 1 Tatis, or 3 of these for the price of 1 Acuna. And I love the lineup. I'm a Yankee fan, obviously, so this hits home.
I was gonna say it. When are you gonna let
No, so I mean, I'm a
Yankee fan.
I'm a Yankee fan, but I also know when to cut bait on people. I am not investing in Aaron Judge cards anymore. I've sold all my Aaron Judge cards. I don't think the guy's healthy. I don't think he'd stay on the field. I think he's too big for the sport, just like Stanton. I think he shouldn't be playing the outfield. I think he's built to be a DH and not dive all over the place. I think he's great when he's out there. He's a fantastic player, but he's never going to give you a full season. So that's not somebody I want to invest in, because just as quickly as you're riding the high of him hitting 10 home runs in 10 games, you're going to hear that he broke a rib and he's out for the next 2 months. So Glaber is a middle infielder. I don't think he played that well at shortstop last year. Remember, they just lost Didi Gregorius, and Glaber was slotted in to play shortstop. It's where they thought he was going to play. I have a feeling he might move over to second base. I think he might be a better second baseman, but he's still a middle infielder. He's going to get a lot of at-bats in a loaded Yankee lineup. He's going to put up numbers for a long time to come. And I don't think there will be a better time to buy his PSA 10 update rookie card, because he just came off of a lot of people had a bad season in COVID. Look no further than like Christian Yelich, who's won an MVP, right? This kid had a bad season, but I'm going to give a lot of people passes and buy low on a lot of those people that can do better when people are selling because of what happened in a shortened COVID 2020 season. I think there's going to be a lot of bargains, and this is right off the top of the list.
I love it. Cage. Any final words before I want to tell Luca Nation something to look out for in the next week or so?
Any final words? Am I dying? I mean, I know I've been eating bad since Halloween over here, but no final words.
Doritos, soda, an apple, and a pear each.
It's a big welcome to the new crew. That's pretty much all. But go ahead, tell them what you want to say.
So, NBA preseason starts next week, and I have a prediction. I think we're going to see a little bit of overreaction with the prospects. In preseason, you're going to see, the Bowls. I love how we always use him as an example. The Bowls plague. And you're going to see some guys, some rookies, some under-the-radar guys pop off. And I think you're going to start seeing some 99 cents, $4 cards become $10, $15. And I think that's an interesting thing to look out for. One, if you really want to have some fun and kind of play around, you could put $100 in. It's kind of like penny stocks. But two, don't try to catch the hype. If you missed it, there's no need to start going after prospects once preseason starts. Just something to look out for. It's a prediction.
I like it. So that's NBA. So I have one, and I want to leave this for you guys to think about. You specifically, Andrew, but our audience. We got a bunch of rooms. We got a bunch of IG chat groups. If you're not in one yet, send us a message. We will put you in one. And if we missed your message and we didn't respond to put you in one, send us another message. There was one guy who messaged me yesterday, and we didn't get in a group. He sent me another message. Hey, can I get in that group? Yes, thank you. Remind me. You're not annoying me. It's been 12 hours. I didn't get you in the group yet, but yes, I'll get you in. But here's one for our groups, or one for our listeners, and please respond. Something I'm thinking about. And it applies, I think, to both of our picks today. But I think that they're so low risk that we don't need them to get back to the glory that they had when their cards were at their highs for them to be a money-making play. Here's my thought, and this is going to scare a bunch of people in the hobby. I think Patrick Mahomes is overpriced. I think Luka Doncic might be overpriced. And here's why. Perfection is built into their prices. Okay? You see people compare them to the greats of the game. Your Brady's in football, right? And your LeBron and Jordan in basketball. People are actually comparing Luka to like a LeBron already. He's going to win the MVP this year, you name it. So LeBron can have a bad season this year, and it may impact his card a little bit. The other guys, these goats, the Jordans, the Joe Montanas, they're done playing. Their cards, they're not going to explode in value because they're not going to go out on the court and drop 60 points anymore. But they've written their book. They've written their story, right? And you can almost
now the myth of the story keeps going on, right?
Yeah, yes. And you can almost say that about LeBron and Brady. There's not much that they could do. They have a bad season. Okay, fine. Their record speaks to themselves. Mahomes is getting there. Won an MVP, won a Super Bowl. Okay, but what I think, there's such a thing as momentum, right? We love momentum, right? Momentum is one of your favorite words, right? And I think that sports momentum and sports cards momentum is something I want to have a bigger dialogue about with you and with our audience. Because I think that what happens is, like a stock that continues to hit their earnings every quarter, the chart kind of looks like one of these straight up arrows. But then when it misses one quarter, right, when it's no longer the darling of the street, right, something happens that messes with that upward trajectory. People fall off that momentum train. And with sports cards, what I've noticed, it's very hard to get that momentum back, right? Everything has to fall perfectly. So to take that out of the stock world and put it into Mahomes, I think that his Super Bowl and his MVP are priced in, and I think another MVP, another Super Bowl, maybe two MVPs and two more Super Bowls are priced in. I think right now they're pricing in an MVP and a Super Bowl for this year, right? That's already priced into his cost, and maybe even next year, right? So what I get nervous about, or if that doesn't happen, remember, you still got to go out there and play the games, right? You still got to wake up Sunday morning and play the guys on the other side of the field, right? And they are ready to take your head off. They don't walk out onto the field and say, well, it's Mahomes. He's the MVP and he's supposed to win the Super Bowl this year because everybody's got cards. So let me just roll over and let him win, right?
Well, I have 20 Mahomes cards, so I'm just going to take it easy on this Sunday morning.
Exactly. I got the Mahomes Shield card, right? So I listen, and this is not to take anything away from Mahomes, right? I just use him as a perfect example because it's easy because everyone loves him. But does everyone love him if he falters? Right? And in the hobby, what I've noticed is it's very hard to get people to buy in on that second wave. Once the initial momentum is gone and they're not perfect anymore, they have a blemish on them. You don't get the same momentum behind that second run up as you did on the first, right? And it scares me a little bit that people are putting so much money into Mahomes because I think they're priced for perfection. Luka is getting there. Believe it or not,
Agreed.
I think some of Trey's prices, and that's a scary thing because that dude's done nothing but have bad hair. So
and the thing with athletes is the earnings come every week, right? And with each new bar that they set, the next earnings has to be that much higher. But instead of 3 months or 6 months or 12 months down the road, where there's some time for the Tesla stock to kind of keep growing and growing, earnings come every week. In basketball, they come every other day.
Yep. Well, here's a great example. Kyler Murray. Right? Dude had some great momentum. It's gone now. What's it going to take to get that back? And will it ever come back? Honestly, I don't think so.
Well, I think that actual question, will he ever get it back, is the real question, right? Because there are people that are sitting and holding that bag that we keep referencing that bought in at 1,000, 900, 800, 700, 600 that are asking that same question.
Yep.
Right? And so you don't want to be that person that bought into Luka at 1,800 on this Prism PSA 10 or Mahomes. I don't know the price. I haven't watched that market. Asking that same question is like, damn, I got this such a good player, but when's the momentum going to kick back in?
Yep. Or be the person who buys it now at 400. And the second wave of momentum, if you believe in the guy, it doesn't have to be as big as the first. You don't have to ride the wave up to 1,000. You ride it up to 600. You're in for 60% of what people bought it at the high, and you're making 50% on your investment. So I mean, there's something to be said about momentum here, and it's just one of those things that I'm watching in the hobby because what I notice is there are hobby darlings, right? And people fall in love with the darlings, and I think Kyler was one of them, right? I mean, young stud, great quarterback and a lot of talent put around him. The offense is going to be better, and I think people really spent a lot of money on Kyler. And the hype train is kind of people are leaving the train, people getting off.
Yep.
And the momentum is not there with him anymore. And I mean, maybe Mahomes is not the best example because look, he's already succeeded, right? He's got a track record, but isn't he priced to basically already be Brady? Isn't he priced to basically already be Joe Montana? And what if that doesn't happen? So in any event, it's one of those things, that I'm looking at, in the hobby, and it does color my plays because believe it or not, Gleyber Torres had a whole bunch of momentum going into last season, right? This was a guy who people were buying for $100. He was going to be on the Yankee team. The Yankee team was going to come out of the American League. They were going to face the Dodgers in the World Series. There was nobody that was going to be able to compete with them in a short season. He just came off of a 30-something home run year. He's gonna, he's great. He's going to be the new face of the Yankees. Blah blah blah, and he just didn't do it. And now there's no momentum. So my play is actually, opposite of that. He doesn't need much momentum for you to make money. I don't see him ever getting back to the hype that was with him before he had this bad season, just because it's hard to do that with our hobby. So
speaking of momentum,
yep.
Blitzing 6 guys, dropping 4 guys back on a final Hail Mary. Craziness.
Listen,
or is he a genius?
One day. Did you talk about Greg Williams? December 6th, it's a Greg Williams day. It's a Greg Williams day also. So I'm going to tell you this. If Mr. Lawrence comes out and plays for the Jets and is the quarterback that people,
Sunshine.
not Johnny Lawrence, John
Sunshine.
Lawrence of the Cobra Kai dojo. No, not him.
I love
Trevor
Remember the
Lawrence.
Titans. You never quote Remember
Yes.
the Titans.
Yeah, because it's, that's your thing. I quote every other movie. You're allowed to have one. So
You quote goofy movies like the Goonies and some other ish.
Dude, you're gonna piss off the audience if you shit on the Goonies. Just know they'll come for you. So here's the one day he will have a Last Dance type of documentary done about him, and they're gonna drag Greg Williams out of the closet, and he's gonna say, "We did it on purpose. You don't do a blitz like that. We knew the Jaguars, were only one away. We needed to lose." Believe it or not, and that's not going to happen, but believe it or not, if they get the number one pick, people will look back at this crazy game and that crazy ending as an important part of Jet history.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
It's crazy stuff.
All right, Luca Nation, enjoy the Monday Night Football games. New listeners, thank you for spending this time with us. PSA submission for December is now closed. We have one every month, so feel free. People kind of send us these like rolling packages, and they even get them shipped directly to us.
Got 4 today.
If you need our address, it's always in our it's like the highlights section of our Instagram profile. It's a huge PO box. It's insured. Have no worries. Ship it right there. We check it every single day. And if you just leave us a note with your information, your Instagram handle, and your service level preference, we message you literally minutes after receiving that package, so you have nothing to worry about.
Yep, we appreciate it, guys. And listen, we thank the new listeners who came on, but we got to thank 137, right, for including us. They gave you your lucky number on the list.
They did. I love number 13. I did.
All right, guys, listen, we appreciate you checking in with us every day. And, we thank you all for listening. And, reach out to us if there's anything you want us to talk about. And let us know what you think about the momentum idea. We'd love to hear from you. Take care, everybody. Thank you for spending some time with us on another episode of the Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My podcast. Do us a favor and like, subscribe. You know what? Don't just like and subscribe. Everybody does that. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And we hope you got something from spending some time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.